Good evening. Please subscribe my YouTube. This is the news with the news done zero. US President Joe Biden has approved sanctions on 4 Israel settlers accused of attacking Palestine in the occupied West Bank. Mr. Biden signed a broad exclusive order saying violence in the West Bank had reached intolerable levels. The sanction blocks the individual from accessing all US property, assets, and the American financial system. Violence in the West Bank has spiked since Hamas launched an unprecedented attack on Israel on 7 October. Some 370 Palestinians have been killed in the West Bank since then. According to the UN, the majority of those have been killed by Israel forces, but at least 8 of them have been killed by Israel settlers, the UN said. The new executive order means the US government has power to sanction any foreign national who attack, intimidate, or cite the property of Palestinians. The sanctions are first by the US administration, a rare state targeting Israel, and Hamas. Mr. Biden traveled to the state of Michigan, which has a large Arab American population that has been critical of his support for Israel. The Arab American Institute and Advocacy Group said that since the start of the conflict, support by Arab Americans for the Democrat Party has plummeted from 59% in the 2020 to just 17%. On Tuesday, senior official in the Biden administration said the president had repeatedly raised concern with Israel about violence by settlers. The executive order set out the ground for how the US will respond to further attack in the West Bank and is an escalation compared to the visa restriction it imposed on some individuals last year. The situation in the West Bank, in particular high level of extremist settler violence, forced displacement of people and villages, and property destruction, has reached of intolerable levels and constitutional stress to the peace, security, and stability of the region. Mr. Biden said in a letter to Congress, explaining his reasoning. A senior administration official said the initial round of sanctions targeting 4 people were against individuals that have directly prepared the violence and those who have engaged in the repeated acts of intimidation, property destruction, leading to the forced displacement of Palestinian communities. They said one person initiated and led to riots that led to the death of a Palestinian civilian in the town of Hara, while another had attacked people with stolen clubs. They added that the executive order was non-discriminatory and applied to both Israelis and Palestinians who direct or take part in violent acts or treaties against civilians, intimidation, destroying, seizing property, or terrorism. The US Treasurer named the force sanctioned Israel as David Charisari, 29, Level 31, Inyan Tangi, 21, and Shalom Zishmael, 32. 3 of them lived in West Bank settlement and 1 lived near the occupied region border, the Treasury said. The US sanction cannot be applied to American citizens, some of whom are thought to be involved in the violence. The State Department spokesman, Matthew Miller, said the US does believe the sanction, while have an impact on the so 4 individuals, and expects Israel to do more to hold accountable those responsible for settlers' violence. Shortly after Mr. Biden signed the executive order, Israel signed it is dissatisfaction and described the majority of West Bank served as law abiding. Israel takes action against all law breaks everywhere. and therefore there is no need for unusual measure on the issue. Statement from Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's official side. The response was yet another sign of deepening public rift between the US and Israel. The two leaders are long-term allies, but have disagreed in recent weeks about the idea of creating an independent Palestine state. There is a belief a Palestine state alongside Israel, known as two-state solution, is vital for long-term stability in the region. Mr. Netanyahu has repeatedly rejected the idea, and the White House acknowledged last month that the US and the Israel government clearly see things differently. The commitment demands opposed in some circles that the conflict could result in Israel and Palestine leaders restarting diplomatic negotiation and kick-starting the dominant peace process. At least half of Gaza buildings damaged or destroyed, new analysis shows. Israel Gaza by Daniel Pampo. More than half of Gaza's buildings have been damaged or destroyed since Israel launched its retaliation of the Hamas attack of 7 October. New analysis by the BBC reveals detailed before and after imagery, also shown how the bombardment of thousands in central Gaza has intensified since the start of December, with the city of Khan Younis bearing much of the brunt of Israel military action. Israel has repeatedly told Gaza to move south for their own safety. Across Gaza, resident areas have been left turned, previously busy shopping, streets reduced to rubble, universities destroyed, and farmlands churned up, with tents spreading up on the southern border to house many thousands of people left homeless. About 1.7 million people, more than 8% of Gaza's population, are displaced, with nearly half criminal in the far southern end of the Strip, according to the United Nations. Further analysis by BBC Verify reveals a cycle of destruction of farmland, identifying multiple areas of extensive damage. The Israel Defense Force (IDF) has said it is targeting both Hamas fighters and terror infrastructure when challenged over the scale of damage. Now, satellite data analysis obtained by the BBC show the true extent of the destruction. The analysis suggests between 144,000 and 175,000 buildings across the whole Gaza Strip have been damaged or destroyed. That's between 50 of and 60 of Gaza's buildings. The analysis carried out by Corliss Chair of City University of New York and Jambo van den Hoek of Oregon State University, comparing images to reveal sudden changes in the height of structure of building which indicate damage. After months of fighting, small groups of Russian troops have reached the heavy damage eastern Ukraine town of Avdiivka and are trying to gain a foothold there. The small number of civilians left have been filling the town in greater numbers under relentless fire, and Ukraine forthright to repeat the attacks. Avdiivka is the gateway to Russian-controlled city of Donetsk. It has been effect on the front line since 2014, when the conflict in eastern Ukraine started. All attempts by Russian troops to advance, they have failed until now. Residents who have failed and volunteers who tried to evacuate as a reform of Avdiivka told the BBC that Russian troops had recently set several streets in the southern part of the town. One volunteer who wished to remain anonymous claimed they were first seen in the outstretches on 19 January. Some people managed to get out from those areas, but it was 2 days ago, he said. Now no one is coming out. We are only getting information that there are bodies on the street, but it is too dangerous to go there. Abadivika had per-war population of more than 30,000 last summer. It was close to 1,650. Now there are just over 1,000 remain. Many have fled, but many have also been killed. The head of the town military administration, Vitaly Barbasha, says it was small Russian Soviet groups who managed to get to the outskirts and not large units. They didn't enter with serious force, yet there are certain sectors, but the strait that everyone is talking about, Sovereign Strait, is under our control. We have pushed them out, he told the BBC. This is, however, the first time that Russians have managed to center the town since the start of the full-scale invasion in February 2022. Since last October, the Russians have unleashed a relentless campaign of artillery and airstrikes. Authorities say that in January alone, they dropped more than 300 guided aviation bombs. And as little buildings have been reduced to rubble, Advika has become graveyard as well as a ghost town. The dead are left under the rubble as there are